March of 2019. A man sells his IT company in San Francisco for $47 million. After taxes, payouts to investors, and broker fees, he walks away with $26 million. 3 years later, he has less than $2 million left. And this is not a story about fraud. David Morrison didn't lose his fortune in a casino. His partners didn't rob him. Drugs? Alcohol? No. He spent almost all of it searching for happiness. Methodically, consciously, and every dollar brought him closer to disaster. You are about to see the most dangerous trap that successful people fall into after achieving financial independence. This isn't about money. This is about what happens when money stops working, and about the only way to get out alive. David founded a cybersecurity company in 2011. 8 years of growth, employees, an office in downtown San Francisco with a view of the Bay, contracts with Fortune 500 companies. The perfect picture of success. At 42 years old, he had achieved what he dreamed of at 25. And he felt empty, not tired, not burned out, just empty, like he had reached the top of a mountain and found nothing there, just another mountain in the distance. He had money, he had respect, a family, a wife, 2 kids. By all measures, he was a lucky man. But every morning he woke up with one question: is this it? That's when he made a decision that changed everything. He sold the company. $47 million, the headline in TechCrunch. $26 million, the reality after all the deductions. Freedom, time, the chance to finally figure out what was wrong. He just had no idea that finding that clarity would cost him almost everything. The first 6 months after the sale, David did what all suddenly rich people do. First-class travel. Restaurants with waiting lists. A Tesla Model S Plaid for $135,000. A house in Malibu for $3,800,000. He thought the problem was a lack of comfort. That years of working 80-hour weeks had drained him, and now he just needed to recover. After 6 months of luxury, minus $4,600,000. He had $21,400,000 left. It didn't work. After 6 months, the emptiness hadn't gone anywhere. In fact, it had gotten louder. Because now he didn't even have the excuse of, "I'm too busy to think about this." Now there was endless time. And every hour, the same question echoed. Why? Why this house? Why this car? Why any of this at all? April of 2019. David is at a TED conference in Vancouver, listening to a monk who walked away from a career at Goldman Sachs to live in a Tibetan monastery. A story about letting go of the material, about finding inner peace, about how real happiness isn't outside, it's inside. The crowd gives a standing ovation. David is crying. This is it. The answer. The problem wasn't a lack of money, the problem was an excess of it. He was using money to try and fix things that money can't fix. He was looking for meaning where it technically cannot exist. And the pendulum swung hard in the opposite direction. And that's when the madness began. For the next 8 months, David lived like a tourist in the world of enlightenment. A Vipassana retreat in Sedona, Arizona, 10 days of silence, $3,500. An ayahuasca retreat in Peru, 2 weeks, $8,000. A meditation course in Boulder, Colorado, 3 months, a personal guru, $25,000. Business class flights, hotels, books, podcasts, coaches. Total spent on spiritual tourism, about $180,000 over 8 months. David read Eckhart Tolle. He listened to Sam Harris podcasts. He learned to be present in the moment. He genuinely believed he was moving toward enlightenment. In reality, he was just trading one form of comfort for another. Meditation was calming. Retreats gave him a sense of progress. Conversations with like-minded people created an illusion of community. Felt good. Really good. But the emptiness remained. It seemed like enlightenment was just around the corner. In truth, it was the same dead end, just with incense and mantras. This is where it gets really dangerous. David decided the problem was half measures. That you can't have one foot in the material world and the other in the spiritual world. You need radicalism. You need honesty with yourself. January of 2021. He sells the Malibu house, but the market has dipped, and after commissions he only gets $3,200,000, less than the $3,800,000 he invested. He gives $5 million to charity, building a school in Guatemala. Another $2 million goes to a homeless support fund in Los Angeles. The family moves into a modest house in a Portland suburb. His wife, Sarah, tries to understand. The kids, 12 and 9 years old, are in shock. They've been pulled out of private school. But David is unwavering. He explains to them about attachments, about how material things are chains, how true freedom lies in letting go. Sarah asks a question. What about college for the kids? Our retirement? David replies, the universe will provide. A red flag visible from space. But from the inside, you can't see a thing. March of 2022. 3 years after selling the company. About $6 million left in the bank. David invests $4 million in a friend's startup, a socially responsible business making eco-friendly packaging. The company folds 8 months later. Total failure. No recovery. The investment is a complete loss. Sarah files for divorce. She takes the kids. The court awards her $800,000. Most of what was left goes to lawyers and the settlement. David has about $1,600,000 left, and absolutely no understanding of what went wrong. The tally, from $26 million net, minus $24,400,000 in 3 years. No casinos, no fraudsters, just methodical self-destruction, all under the banner of enlightenment. July of 2022. David is in a therapist's office in Portland. Not a guru, not a coach. A regular clinical psychologist, Dr. Rebecca Chen, 63 years old, 35 years of practice. She listens to his story, and she draws a simple diagram, 4 levels. Level 1, safety, money, shelter, health. Level 2, comfort, pleasures, hobbies, rest. Level 3, ego, career, status, recognition. Level 4, spirituality. Service, giving back, meaning. David, she says, you made a classic mistake. When money stopped making you happy, you decided the problem was money. That's like throwing away a hammer because it can't fix a car. That's not what a hammer is for. A pause. Money only covers the first level, safety. You were trying to use it to cover the 4th. It didn't work. So you swung to the other extreme. You started destroying the first level, thinking that would somehow unlock the 4th. Listen closely. Here's the critical thing to understand. Meditation is not spirituality. It's comfort. Level 2. Mental hygiene, like going to the gym for your body. Is it helpful? Yes. But it's not about the meaning of life. Retreats, yoga, mindfulness, they all improve your state of being. But they don't answer the question, why? It's like taking a warm bath and calling it service to humanity. Real spirituality, level 4, is when you give. Not money, that's the easy part, but your time, your attention, yourself, every day, not just for show, not to feel like a good person, but because there's genuine gratitude inside for what you have and a desire to pass it on. The 12-step program for addiction works for this very reason. A person admits their ego, level 3, has collapsed. They accept help. And then, the key moment, they start helping other addicts. They become a sponsor. They serve. This balances the whole pyramid through level 4. Dr. Chun asks, when you gave away millions to charity, what did you feel? David is honest. Pride. That I was doing something important. That's ego. Level 3. The ground fell out from under him. And when you destroyed your family's financial security for your spiritual search, I thought I was freeing them from attachments. You destroyed the foundation of the house trying to build the roof. You can't give away what you don't have. You can't serve the world by abandoning your own children. Silence. David, you didn't become more spiritual. You just traded one form of selfishness for another. The next 6 months, reconstruction. Not of his life, of his understanding. David goes back to basics. He finds a job, senior cybersecurity consultant at a private firm. $155,000 a year. Not millions, but stability. Level 1 safety is being rebuilt. He rents an apartment, a modest one. He starts saving for the kids' college. He pays child support on time every time. He asks Sarah to try joint therapy. She doesn't agree right away, but she agrees. Comfort level 2 returns in measured doses. 1 dinner out a week. The gym. Books. Not asceticism, but not extravagance either. Ego level 3 is the hardest. David learns not to seek recognition, not to post on social media, not to tell acquaintances how much he's changed, just to do, silently, and then he finds real spirituality, and it doesn't look like it does in the books. Every Saturday, David volunteers at a homeless shelter in Portland. He doesn't write checks. He mops floors. He hands out food. He talks to people. For hours a week. No one knows that 3 years ago he had $26 million. Every morning, 3 minutes of gratitude. Not meditation. Just a list. I'm grateful for having a roof over my head. For my health. For the kids being alive. For hot water. Sounds cliché? Maybe. But it works. Because gratitude isn't a technique. It's an antidote to emptiness. Dr. Chun explained to him the concept of the vessel versus the pipe. If you live like a vessel, accumulating good things just for yourself, you quickly get full. Joy disappears. Millions in the bank, but empty inside. Because there's nowhere to grow. Nowhere for things to flow. To be happy, you need to become a pipe. Or a mirror. Receive good things and give them back to the world. Not depleting yourself. Not destroying your foundation. But constantly letting the flow pass through you. Elon Musk lives with a giant imbalance, level 3, ego, achievements blown up to skyscraper proportions, while levels 1 and 2, safety and comfort, are in ruins. He admits it himself. No balance, no personal happiness. That only works if your goal is to change human history. A flight to Mars. Electrifying the planet. For everyone else, that path is a direct route to neurosis. David understood a simple truth. Balance is not weakness. It's the only thing that works. January of 2026. Almost 7 years after selling the company. David and Sarah are back together. Not right away. Slowly. Through therapy, conversations, rebuilding trust. In the bank, about $1,900,000. A steady salary. Plus investments in index funds, conservative, boring, reliable. The kids go to a good public school. Not elite, but good. The college fund gets money added every month. David still volunteers on Saturdays. Still practices gratitude. But now it's not a search for happiness. It's just part of life. Like brushing your teeth. And the emptiness? It's gone. Not because he found some great meaning, but because he stopped searching for it. Stop. Listen carefully. This is important. What follows isn't motivational slogans. It's data. A study from the University of California, published in the peer-reviewed journal Small Business Economics. Mental health issues directly or indirectly affected 72% of entrepreneurs in the sample. Depression, 30%. ADHD, 29%. Substance abuse, 12%. And that's entrepreneurs who are still working. What happens after an exit? Nearly all founders experience deep and prolonged sadness after selling their company. Even if the deal was incredibly successful. For many founders, their business isn't just a job. It's the core of their identity. The end of that chapter leads to a deep sense of loss and confusion. A Harvard Business Review survey showed that over 40% of founders experience emotional turbulence after an exit, from anxiety to an identity crisis. And now, the main point. The World Happiness Report 2025, the world's largest study on happiness, dedicated an entire section to the theme of giving and caring. The report's theme, caring and sharing. How care and giving back affect happiness. The key finding? Deaths of despair are significantly lower in countries where more people report volunteering, donating to charity, or helping strangers. Wealth is not enough for a population to feel happy. A direct quote from the report. Marcus Notch person sold Minecraft for $2.5 billion. He bought Jay-Z and Beyoncé's former mansion for $70 million. He threw legendary parties. And less than a year later, he tweeted, hanging out in Ibiza with a bunch of friends, partying with celebrities, able to do whatever I want, and I've never felt more lonely. Vinay Hiremath sold Loom for nearly $1 billion. He almost died in the Himalayas. He lost his girlfriend, and he wrote a post titled, "I'm rich and I have no idea what to do with my life." 72% of entrepreneurs, billionaires, regular founders, the same emptiness. This isn't a coincidence. It's a pattern. Right now, not tomorrow, not someday, right this second. Ask yourself one question. Where is your imbalance? Are you hoarding money but forgot about rest? Level 1 is bloated, level 2 is atrophied. Are you chasing career success but haven't seen your family for months? Level 3 is devouring levels 1 and 2. Do you meditate every day but call it spirituality? That's level 2, comfort, not service. Or the most dangerous one, are you sacrificing your family's safety for higher purposes? That's not holiness. It's an imbalance that will destroy you. Draw the 4 levels. Right now. Paper, pen, safety, comfort, ego, spirituality. Be honest about each one. Where is it bloated? Where is it empty? And start balancing. Not with a revolution, with small shifts, every single day. Remember, money will never give you meaning. Ever. Meditation will never replace service. Ever. Charity won't work if you're destroying your family's safety. Ever. Become a pipe, not a vessel. Give, but without damaging the foundation. Let the flow pass through, but don't dry up the source. Balance is not a destination. It's a daily practice, like breathing. David spent $24 million in 3 years to understand one simple thing. Happiness is not what you accumulate, and it's not what you renounce. It's the balance between what you hold onto and what you give away. March of 2019, $26 million and complete emptiness. January of 2026, $1,900,000 and inner peace. What changed? Not the amount, the understanding. Don't make his mistake. Right now, in the comments, which level of your pyramid is bloated? Which one is forgotten? Where's the imbalance? That's not a rhetorical question. It's the first step. If this video gave you even one valuable thought, hit like. If you know someone who's currently torn between money and asceticism, send them the link. Could change their trajectory. Subscribe. Here we break down not motivational fairy tales, but the mechanisms that actually work. The time you spent on this video was not wasted.